What's up, fam? Check this out. The Paris 2024 Olympics were supposed to be a blast, but oh boy, what a disaster. The aquatic marathon in the Seine turned into a total mess. After the race, the Seine became the new hotspot for health crises among athletes. First up, we've got Leonie Beck, the German swimmer who made the mistake of diving into this hellish pool. Poor thing was throwing up her guts and had diarrhea so bad, even the closest bathroom couldn't handle it. And she wasn't alone. Swiss swimmer Adrian Briffaut and Portuguese competitors Melanie Santos and Vasco Valaca had the same fantastic experience. Why? The Seine had bacteria levels, like Escherichia coli, higher than a nightclub's tab. The Seine, which should have been the stage for Olympic glory, turned into a breeding ground for infections. These bacteria aren't just a nuisance, they can cause serious illnesses, like typhoid fever and infectious hepatitis. The situation got so bad that Belgian athlete Michel had to be hospitalized after swimming in this bacteria soup. Before the events, the French Society of Infectious Diseases had already sounded the alarm about the risks of swimming in this filthy water, warning about leptospirosis and other nasties. Escherichia coli, usually hanging out in the gut, can cause everything from kidney failure to anemia when it's high in the water, according to the WHO. Paris had a mission: to clean up the Seine and get it ready for the athletes, pouring tons of money into the cleanup. But guess what? The promises of crystal clear water went down the drain when training and competitions had to be postponed. Now, with everyone getting sick, the big question is, was the cleanup enough, or was it just a marketing stunt, fam? Let's catch up. Let's rewind and check out the origins of the Seine River, the star that shaped Paris and, on top of that, helped found the city. The Seine starts its journey from a small spring in Source Seine, in the Burgundy region, about 500 meters above sea level. At first, it was just a tiny stream, but soon it became the corridor that shaped one of the largest cities on the planet. Spanning 777 kilometers, the Seine flows through France until it meets the English Channel. Back in the day, the Seine was the favorite of the people in what we now know as Paris. The Gauls, those cheeky Celtic folks, considered the river sacred. They believed the Seine's waters had magical powers that guaranteed bountiful harvests and successful crops. This deep respect for the Seine not only influenced cultural practices but also helped shape the city. When the Romans founded Lutetia, ancient Paris, in the 3rd century BC, the Seine quickly became the main route for transport and trade. The city grew around the river and turned into a commercial hub that shone brighter than fireworks. The Seine was crucial in transforming Lutetia into a thriving empire. In the Middle Ages, the Seine continued to stand strong as the backbone of Paris. The river made transporting goods and people a breeze, and its banks were lined with markets and commerce. Paris expanded along the Seine, building bridges and mills that harnessed the river's power. This infrastructure was essential for the city's economic growth and daily life. Today, the Seine is a symbol of Paris's history, reflecting the city's transformation over the centuries. So, did you enjoy this time travel? Let's dive into what the 20th century had in store for our beloved Seine, with the 2024 Olympics on the horizon. Have the lessons of the past been learned, or will the Seine continue to be the kid who got screwed, just when cleanup seemed finally within reach? Hold on tight, because there's much more to come. The Clean Seine project and the Olympic controversy, yo fam. Let's keep diving into our Seine journey, which is now in full-on reinvention mode. Check this out. The Clean Seine project kicked off with a bang in 2002, like a superhero with a cape and all, promising to clean up the river and bring back its former glory. They poured billions of euros into infrastructure, setting up new drainage systems and reservoirs to handle floods and contaminated water discharge. Advanced sensors were installed to monitor water quality in real time, kinda like a watchdog that barks if anyone makes a mess, but that's not all. The government introduced bioremediation techniques, using microorganisms to break down toxic substances. A real team of little biological helpers, working hard to clean up the water. Plus, ecological restoration projects were launched, with replanting of aquatic vegetation and creation of protected areas. The Seine was getting VIP treatment, almost like it was heading for a full Cinderella makeover. But the journey to restore the Seine wasn't a smooth marathon. Floods and poor practices continued to stir up trouble. The Seine still faced ups and downs, and the promise of perfectly clean water seemed as distant as hitting the lottery. Still, the effort was visible, and the river was starting to bounce back, though with a few slip-ups. And here's the dilemma. With the pressure to keep the event on schedule, was the athlete's safety adequately prioritized? Or did the attempt to preserve the tradition and glamour of the Seine overshadow the importance of ensuring a safe environment for the competitors? The decision to proceed with the competitions despite the concerns sparked a heated debate. Many wondered if the athletes' health was pushed to the background in the name of spectacle and tradition. The Seine, which was supposed to be a symbol of Paris, ended up becoming a battleground between tradition and safety. So, fam, the lingering question is, was it worth risking the athletes' health for the sake of glamour and tradition? Will the history of the Seine's trial and errors serve as a warning that, in the future, the priority should always be ensuring the health and well-being of the participants? The emergency action, fam. Now things are getting even more interesting. Let's dive into the emergency measures and the resolution of the Seine saga during the 2024 Olympics. So, let's go. With health concerns at an all-time high and the Olympics calendar fast approaching, the organizing committee had to pull off a real feat to save the day. They decided to roll out an emergency plan to treat the Seine's water with the urgency of a superhero arriving to put out a fire. With a mix of purification technologies and a lot of French flair, they tried to turn the water into something minimally acceptable. The pressure was intense. The committee had to race against the clock, adjusting water treatments and reinforcing safety measures. After all, the world was watching Paris, and besides delivering a top-notch show, the last thing they needed was a sanitary fiasco. So, they installed extra filters and even considered adding chemicals to spice up the water, like it was a luxury spa for the Seine. The decision to go ahead with the competitions was met with a mix of relief and skepticism. Some athletes were ready to dive in, while others were wary, wondering if the water was truly problem-free. The tension in the air was palpable, the kind you feel when you're about to open a gift but fear it might be a pair of socks. And with no other choice, the athletes started competing. The Seine turned into a stage divided between Olympic glamour and the fear of what might come next. The city was buzzing, but the concern didn't disappear. Even with the cleanup efforts, some athletes reported issues, raising new questions about the effectiveness of the emergency measures. In the end, the Paris Olympics once again proved that even the most charming cities face challenges when it comes to balancing tradition and modernity, and the Seine saga continues. The sewage management was upgraded, and new purification technologies were installed. The Clean Seine project became a real-life goal, with increased investments and commitments to keep the water in decent conditions. The city also launched awareness programs for the public and businesses, aiming to reduce environmental impact and prevent waste. Paris was determined to show that it had learned its lesson and was ready to implement real changes. After all, the Seine is an icon of the city and deserves all the care in the world. After the cleanup show they tried to put on to ensure the Seine was cleaner than a lab bench, Paris had to face the consequences and start thinking about the future. The impact of the Olympics revealed that, although the Seine didn't quite deliver the show expected, there's still a long way to go. The city had to tackle the river's image and the challenge of making sure it wouldn't turn back into a sewer in the future. Moreover, the 2024 Olympics served as a reminder for other international events. The world was urged to review and improve its water management and sanitation plans. Paris's experience became a case study on the importance of ensuring that participants' health isn't compromised in the name of tradition or spectacle. And so, the Seine, despite all its battles, is trying to reinvent itself and regain its former glory. The city continues to invest in technologies and measures to keep the river healthy and safe, and the hope is that, in the future, it can once again be Paris's true pride. So, fam, what can we learn from this whole story? Sometimes, even the greatest icons face challenges and need a good dose of innovation and responsibility to stay relevant and healthy. The Seine, with all its scars and achievements, is a symbol of the ability to reinvent itself. Now that you know the whole saga of the Seine, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications so you don't miss the next saga. And remember, just like the Seine, you too can overcome challenges and reinvent yourself. Shocking facts about the Seine River. A body every 10 days. One of the most disturbing statistics about the Seine is that a body is found in the river every 10 days. This not only reflects Paris's turbulent history but also the grim reality of a river that, for years, served as a dumping ground for bodies and waste. Napoleon and his plans to cover the Seine. Napoleon Bonaparte had ambitious plans for the Seine. He wanted to build an avenue over the river to ease traffic and urban expansion. Thankfully, the project was abandoned, but it's fascinating to imagine how different Paris would have been if that plan had gone through.